Hi, lovelies. This is Tabby here from tabbies.ca. And today I have Anita from Anita's Custom Creations. How are you
Hello.
tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Good. I just got some great news about a delivery, so I'm kind of excited today.
Mhm. That's-
So, can you tell us a bit about what you do?
I do a lot of different things craft wise. I was never actually ever interested in really a lot of crafting until a couple of years ago. And um, my husband said, well, I think you should buy a Cricut because, I bought a sweatshirt from somebody and it was $45. And he's like, you can make that so much cheaper. It's so easy. And I said, no, I don't need one of those machines. And then there was an auction, and I saw one at the auction, so I bought it. And every day I'd come home from work and I'd start playing and making little decals and things like that, the easy things. And until I felt a little bit more confident. And then I think I went to cardboard, like not cardboard, but cardstock, and I made cards and um, things that weren't too expensive that I could kind of practice around with.
Yeah.
And then I saw another Cricut machine on the auction that did more things. So I bought it. And I sold my first one to my niece in hopes that she would find my love of cricketing, I guess. And it's just kind of evolved from there. So, I made some t-shirts and things for friends. I made some little wall hanging signs that I sold because, somebody said, oh, I'd buy one of those. And because I was posting pictures just on my normal Facebook page. And then my niece said, well, why don't you make a page? And I thought, okay, I'll make a page. Nobody's going to look at this page. You know what I mean? Like just me making things, right? And then people, oh, can you make me one of those? Or can you do this? And yeah, I'll try. Let me see what I can do. So yeah, I just went from there. And then, as you explore the world of crafting, you find more things that interest you, I think. And so, I went into sublimation. Um, I have a laser. So, I'm doing a lot of different things now and loving all of it and just just experimenting. So,
Um, so, how did you learn to do the cricket? So, you picked up the cricket at the auction. Did it come with instructions for you to figure it out, or did you have to do
um,
it all online?
no, I went, I YouTube everything pretty much. If I'm doing home repairs, I YouTube it. If I'm learning the cricket, learning the laser, all of it's kind of just, internet search and just watching. Joined a lot of Facebook groups. There's a lady named Jennifer Maker who has a web page, and she just has a lot of free um, files on there that you can make things with. And she goes through how to make it with a video tutorial, and then, you can kind of do it and learn. And, yeah, you're just learning that way. And then, some days I'm like, oh, I wonder how people make those gold fonts. And then I'm like, how do I make a font? So, you look it up and you just, I don't know, go down rabbit holes of internet searches. So, yeah.
So, do you have like a software? I know some of them they have like a soft. I don't know much about Cricut. I've always
Yeah. So
wanted.
Cricut comes with its own software. But there's also like some of the files I actually make in my um, the laser computer software because I find it easier. And with that, I can
Okay.
save the file and actually open it up with my Cricut. Or I have another laser software that I use to actually burn the items, but I don't use it so much to create. So, and then Etsy, lots of patterns on Etsy that I just download from there, and you can just open them up in your Cricut program, and away you go. So it's just a matter of resizing them or changing them how you want it.
So, when you started creating, did you start creating knowing you were going to make a business out of it, or you just did it for fun?
No, I just did it for fun. And like I said, when I bought the Cricut, I was like, I don't need this. I'm too busy. I don't need to do a business. And then it kind of became my outlet for stress, and just something to do. Like, so I used to come home and watch TV. My TV, I don't even know the last time I turned it on because I just come home and, this is where I unwind in my craft room, and it's a little bit of a disaster. You can see my shelf behind me, but it doesn't matter if I straighten it out, it's never clean. I'm always making something or, I see something and I think I can do that. I want to try it and find out. And if I don't have enough time after work, it's almost like it's a disappointment because crap, I can't create today. But yeah, it's just, yeah, I never really did think I would make a business out of it. I was hoping, I'd make enough money to pay off my Cricut so that it was, not a waste of money. And I honestly don't make a lot of t-shirts and things for myself that I use on my own. It's mostly for other people now. And yeah, and I'm okay with that. Like I never know what I want to put on my own t-shirt. So whatever anybody else wants, I'll make it for them.
So that's kind of nice though. You always have something for gifts. So like Christmas never sneaks up on you.
No. Yeah, yeah. I went, up north to see my brother and the kids. The last time I was there, my niece had stolen my brother's Beatles t-shirt. So I said, next time I come, I'll bring you a Beatles t-shirt. So she made sure I didn't forget about it. And, Owen got a Maple Leafs t-shirt. And yeah, it's good. It's nice to be able to just make a gift. And it's more from the heart, than it is just to go out and buy something at the store. So something that
True.
they like. But
No, it's true. Because when you give them something that you created, the whole time you were making it, you're thinking about them.
right. And
So
my
it's
sister,
kind of
she ordered, the tumblers. She ordered tumblers she had me make them for all of our nieces and nephews. And it was kind of neat because we went through, what's their personality? What kind of things do they like? And, that's the kind of designs that we picked, something that would suit each one of them individually. And it's just kind of nice to be able to make that personal touch and personal gift for them with their name on it and something that's theirs. So
yeah.
yeah.
So do you make your own designs too?
Not well, I do for the Cricut. If somebody sends me something and I look at it and I think I can make that without buying a pattern for it, or depends on how complicated it is. Sometimes I may have to buy a picture that goes into it, or a, like I download new fonts all the time, but you can always get free ones. And so I do make a lot of the things that, for t-shirts and stuff, I make my own.
That's awesome. So you have a Cricut, a
Yeah.
sublimation printer,
Yeah.
your laser cutter, and you said you have another laser for burning?
No, so well, the laser, it can engrave or it can do cutting. So like it just depends on the
Okay.
settings that you set for it. So I do like cutting boards, and I don't, you probably saw this one on my page. I have a candle in it, so I don't want to move it too much. But so this is a pattern that I bought off of Etsy. And depending on how you set your laser, it can cut or it can engrave. So this is set for cutting, and it cuts out all of the designs in there. And then this is this is just from the dollar store, this board. So I do practice things on it and, show people what their design might look like. This is kind of a 3D type of
Engrave?
design. But again, it's just a file that you buy and then you set your laser up right. It will work better than mine did. But yeah, just
Okay.
just experimenting with different things. And people actually, I guess, can cut vinyl with their laser cutter as well. It's not something that I've tried since I have the Cricut. But I am working on engraving cups, like Yeti mugs and stuff like that. Again, something you want to be careful with because it does run into lots of money buying those cups, but still working on it. Not ready to sell any of that yet. So.
Well, I've seen a couple pieces there that you had that were engraved slate.
Yeah, so yeah, I've bought some slate. They're actually cheese boards, some of them, and it works to engrave on it, and it's an easy way, like because I can just order it from Amazon, so it's easy to to get it, to purchase it, and it kind of makes some neat pictures. Like I've done some cars, and I did one for my mom for Christmas of her and my dad's wedding day, and actually sold a couple for for a lady who wanted wedding day pictures. So yeah, it was kind of neat. And my brother's boss way up north, he has a mining company. So I did slate coasters for him for his business because he, kind of
Oh,
goes along with the mining. So I did, I think, 200 coasters, and it took me a while, but he wasn't
wow.
in a
Yeah.
rush. So yeah, it was a good, that was my biggest sale. I was pretty proud when he ordered those, but yeah, it's kind of
Oh, for
neat.
sure. That's a lot of slate.
It is a lot of slate. It was heavy. Uh, he's like, how am I gonna, are you gonna get these way up north? Because Jonathan lives about 8 hours away from us. And I said, well, we're gonna visit in September. So for this order, I'll drive them up to you. And then, it's no shipping cost. But yeah, it was loading them in the car. I was like, man, this is a lot of slate.
Oh, yeah.
So
To pay shipping would be incredible.
it would be incredible. Yeah. Like just to do a small order these days is, $30 to send to somebody. So can't imagine how much that one would have been, but
Yeah, that's where I definitely benefit from the fact that quilts are rather light.
yes. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So,
Yeah.
but it costs $20 to $30 for the smallest shipping to ship
Yeah.
it now.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you cross that threshold into a package, it's at least $20 to $30.
Yeah. Yeah. You try to fit it in a envelope that fits through the slot. Anything that you're sending, just vacuum seal this and let's see if we can fit it in there. But
I've had purses that would fit through there. I've
yeah.
some small purses, but then every now and again the little snaps on them would turn and the
Yeah.
metal
And then it
would
won't go
bend,
through.
right? Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I've done some puzzles and, broken them all up into pieces before I ship them. And then when they get in a pile, then it doesn't fit through the thing. And I'm like, just shake it. It'll go through there. But they're pretty good at the post office here. They will work with me usually. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So your puzzles, do you print on them with the sublimation printer first
Yeah, so you print
and then the laser?
it's a big sheet of paper. So my printer goes up to 13 by 19 pieces of paper, 13 by 19 inches.
Okay.
And then depending on the size of the puzzle, you have to fit it to your puzzle. So I print it out on the paper and then you put it on the puzzle and it goes in a heat press. And then after it comes out, then the picture is onto the puzzle. So then you can break it all up into because it comes all put together, obviously, so that
Oh, so
you
it's
can.
already a puzzle that you get and you just print on it with the sublimation
Yeah,
printer.
yeah, it's just a puzzle that you already buy and it's just blank and you just print on it and press it and then it's done, which
Awesome.
is a
So
really
have you
unique gift because, people, I find at Christmas, like they're really good to have in stock. People really like to give them to their family members. And, if you do family photos or whatever, it's kind of a neat way to share that. So
yeah, or even like hold on to memories of like a Christmas vacation or something,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
That'd be really cool.
that would be cool. Like your trip to the Bahamas with all the palm trees in the ocean or something would be a neat puzzle. But yeah, yeah.
That sure would be. Okay. So I know you kind of answered this, but when did it become a business for you?
Um, I'd say probably about 6 months, maybe like 2020, probably around in the summer. And, we were all at home doing nothing because of COVID. So it was kind of my thing to do. And, that's, I think, really when I got into looking more into sublimation and figuring out what kind of printer I could buy to make that work without spending, $1,000 on a printer and um, just doing all that kind of research. And just posting all the things that I made and that, people, I just kept posting and people started buying things. And, of course, it started with friends and family. They shared things, more people saw it. Oh, I like that. Um, I have a lot of people now who follow my page and I don't know who they are, but hey, I'm happy to make them something. So, and
For
it would
sure.
be interesting to know. Sometimes I think, oh, how did you find out about my page? But I also have people who will tag me in Facebook groups. If somebody, we have a group called Ingersoll Unplugged, and it's just people from the town of Ingersoll. And if they'll ask a question in there, who makes this kind of thing? Some of my regular customers will say, oh, Anita's Custom Creations, and it's kind of neat that they're willing to pass your name on because you've made them happy with what you've made them. So
And that word of mouth is so powerful.
it really is. Yeah. Even like a lady who used to work for me, she raced horses at the Western Fair, and one of my newer customers, she also races horses at the Western Fair. So the lady who used to work for me, she said, your name's moving around. People are seeing your stuff. And I was like, oh, that's kind of neat to know, that it's getting out there. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And it's kind of neat that it almost goes full circle. Like your friend who races horses now is with someone else who is also buying your stuff, doing
Yeah.
the same thing she is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really neat. So, and yeah, hopefully it keeps going around and people will keep buying things, and I'll happily keep making them because it just, it's not all about the money, but it's nice to have that little bit of extra cash to do extra things, like buy kitchen cupboards and, things like that you don't normally be able to spend on your paycheck because you're buying groceries that have gone up in price so much. So
Yeah.
it's,
Or struggling
it's
to pay
nice.
rent or
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Get your car fixed, all those things. It's nice just to not have to worry. Oh, I have some orders coming in and I've got that extra cash so I can do that. So, yeah.
or I can buy a new Cricut or in my case
Yeah,
a new
yeah.
sewing machine.
And I might need a new sublimation printer. Yeah. Yeah, something. Yeah.
And the husband, of course, is always like, doesn't that one work just fine? And you're like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
it does, but
But,
the new one.
this one's better. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah,
Yeah.
I bought a new laser just before Christmas, and it's a little bit more has a lot more capability than the one that I had before. And, the one that I had before did a great job. It was my first one, and I didn't really know what I was buying or, all the ins and outs of a laser. And I still don't. I wouldn't ever claim to. But as you learn more as you're researching. And I was like, okay, I need something a little bit better. So,
The one thing that I absolutely just I find stunningly beautiful are those family trees that you've
oh,
been
the
making.
family trees. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are my favorite. They're so pretty. And so,
So are you sorry.
no, go ahead.
Oh,
I don't make those, so I download a pattern for those. And thankfully they come in so many different family sizes and, with just a mom or just a dad or whatever. So it's kind of neat that I can, and then I haven't asked anybody, hey, what colors do you want? I just kind of do that on my own. And, that's kind of my creative part of it because it changes everything, right? The way the colors go together. So yeah.
I agree with that because the way that the layering happens, those colors just they work off each other really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you do that? Like you put in a piece of like I'm assuming you use balsa wood
Yeah, balsa
or
wood or yeah, just craft wood, and it's um I have a couple different thicknesses. I have a 1.5 millimeter. I prefer to use the 2 millimeter. Sometimes it's hard to get. Um yeah, and so you just do each sheet separately, and I've learned as I've gone because again, you know, that piece of wood moves just a tiny bit and then your design is ruined for that. So, I have magnets that actually hold it in place and hold it up high enough so the pieces that get cut out can fall down underneath without it getting caught. So it's taken me a lot of practice. The last one I made, I didn't ruin any pieces of wood. I was pretty proud of myself.
good.
Yeah. So yeah, and you just do each one separately and then you paint them and stack them all together and glue them together and you give it to the person you love. I've only done them so far for people I love. So yeah. Yeah.
So each layer is it like that full circle or is
Yeah,
it
each layer,
little
yeah,
pieces?
and it has so the first one doesn't have as many details in it, and then the next one is a little bit more detailed until you get to the final one where it's very um like the last one is just actually just usually the mom or like the two parents and then the tree roots. Um and it's very fine, like the wood is very thin, so you have to be very careful with it. But yeah, it kind of gets more and more detailed and I think there's usually 6 layers on each one. So
That
yeah.
sounds like it would get confusing after a while, right? There's so many layers and
Yeah,
How
you have to make sure you put them all together the right way so that each, so all the, because your colors will show up based on the layer, right? So you have to make sure that it goes together the right way to show that color. But yeah.
and it's not the only thing you do that has layers like that. Like
No, I
what
did a
would I like,
cat.
yeah, how was the cat a pattern?
Yes, yeah. It's a pattern and it has 9 layers. I actually have one up here in a bag still. So these are pretty neat because like each layer, this is like a cat in an apartment, I think, and it shows the apartment on outside the window. Has the railing for the balcony. So each one of those is a different layer. Where this, the cat standing on the table here is one layer, and then the cat with the books is another layer. So it's kind of neat putting all that together in the 3D aspect of it. But and then
So
it's
do you
just
paint? Oh, that's so cool.
yeah.
You can
So
see
that's
all
the
the layers.
side of it and all the layers together.
Okay, that's so neat. When
Yeah.
you put the color in, are you using paints to do that?
Sometimes I use like a paint marker and sometimes I just use paint. Yeah. So depending on if it's a lot of detail work, then I'll use paint markers because they're so fine and I can do that. But I do use just regular paints as well. So acrylics.
I love acrylics. They're my
Yeah.
go-to. I used
Yeah.
to have a whole bunch of like the decor art ones, and then like my kids use
I was
those.
gonna say the kids used them, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So now I have just my like my painting paints, but they use those too.
Oh,
Oh,
the dog
looks like
joined us.
Mummy's kid. Yeah, Mummy's kid came in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um. So what inspires you then?
Mostly just things that I see. Um, you know, when I'm on Facebook or when I'm in a craft group, I'll see an idea and not necessarily that I make the same thing, but just I just want to try things all the time and just yeah, I think that's it. Just what things that I see, like what can I do that's similar or that's Anita, something that so then I'll look on Etsy and I'll get some ideas and thought starters and go from there.
So one of the things I seen were the kids puzzles.
Yeah.
You have the wood and the puzzle pieces that
Yeah,
are
so
in
I've
there.
only done one of those so far. I haven't even got it finished. It was I was doing renovations that week and that was just kind of okay, I need to sit down and make something for a couple hours and get away from the work, but yeah, I think I saw somebody had made a kids puzzle and I thought that's so neat because there's a lot of kids with autism, I think, who would benefit from having those kind of puzzles. So, or even to maybe color them themselves. And
Oh, that's a
so I
great
haven't
idea.
colored it yet, thinking that maybe I have a friend whose son is autistic. So I was thinking maybe I'd give it to him and that could be something that they would do together to color that puzzle and then put it, he can play with it. So yeah,
No, and what kid doesn't like to create their own cars? Like
right.
it was cars, right?
It's like tractors and fire trucks and like a bulldozer, I think. Yeah, all kinds of things like that. So yeah, it was pretty neat.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things you were talking about is your tumblers. How do you get the designs in there? Is that like a vinyl cut, or do you print something with your
Yeah,
printer?
same. You print them with the sublimation printer. They get wrapped around and taped on so that they're really tight, and then you have a shrink wrap that you um, shrink over the cup so that it has all that pressure to hold it tight.
Okay.
Hades, and then they get baked in the oven. So some people have
Really?
tumbler presses. I haven't bought one of those yet. So I have a little convection toaster oven in my craft room, and
Yeah.
you can't use it for food once you've used it for sublimation because of the fumes. But yeah, so that's all I use it for, is just to do cups in there. And yeah, they bake in there for about 6 minutes. You unwrap them and they're all good to go. Pretty
Awesome.
neat. Yeah. It's actually one of my
Yeah.
favorite things is to unwrap them after and just see, because the colors with sublimation are just so very vivid. And it's just surprising because when you actually print the image, it doesn't look vivid. It looks very dull. And then once the heat does its part, then it's a very vivid print. So yeah,
That's good. And some of those tumblers are really gorgeous.
yeah.
I seen one you did, I think it was around Christmas time, where it was a glow in the dark one. Is it the tumbler that's glow in the dark? I think it was Jack from the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh
Or
yeah, the tumbler glows
Jack
in the
Skellington.
dark. So yeah, you can buy tumblers that are glow in the
Oh,
dark, and then when you put your image on them, anything that's kind of white shows through and glows in the dark. And you can get usually blue ones or green ones. So yeah, the Jack.
okay.
I think that was for my friend. She loves Jack, so Skellington. Yeah, yep. And the glow in the dark just kind of suits that movie. So
No, it does. It really does. I was just wondering because it was the only one I seen there that was glow in the dark.
yeah,
And like those are really cool. The glow in the
yeah.
dark ones are really cool. Like if you were going out drinking with your friends, I don't know, I guess not going. If you were going to a house party, you
Yes,
would want
yeah,
something that would glow in the dark.
yes.
Where'd my cup go?
You, oh, there it is. It's glowing. Yeah, you have to charge it before in the sunlight though, so I'm not sure how long they last, but it's
Well, maybe
actually
camping.
maybe camping. Yes, camping for sure, because you need to
Yeah.
find that cup at night.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
So what's your favorite thing to make?
Um, I think the layered things are my favorite thing to make, just because I love to see the way they come together, and when you add each layer and the colors, yeah, they're my favorite for sure. They are definitely the most time consuming, but the end result is always my favorite. So yeah.
That's, that's awesome. So one of the things I seen at Christmas time, you were making gnome earrings.
Yeah, I didn't sell any of those. Nobody wanted them, but I was just having some fun, cutting out, learning how, and um, they were a bit frustrating because you have to get just the right size holes, for the hoops to go through and stuff like that. But yeah, I wore them to work. They loved them at work. They were laughing, and every day I had a different pair. So at Christmas time, yeah, I had some fun with it. But
No, that's awesome. I one year I made probably hundreds of these snowman polymer clay earrings, and I still have. Well, I made a whole bunch of Christmas ornaments too, but I still have my pair of snowman earrings, and I love them. I wear them every year.
yeah, every year, yeah. It's
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, no, I loved the.
I have a
I
bunch
was
of them.
all about the gnomes this year, and I did hand towels, and I did a sweatshirt, and I did the earrings. Yeah, it was just some fun. So
So how do you do the sublimation on your hand towels and stuff? Like, do you have to heat press them the same way you do the
yeah,
cups?
yeah. So you heat press
Okay.
them with towels. If you can, if you can get polyester, then it's easiest because you can just print it on the paper. Sublimation works best
Okay.
with polyester, and doesn't work with cotton. But I have found kind of a workaround for that, and involves some special powder and special um, transfer films, which is kind of neat because then it works for sweatshirts and things like that, cotton sweatshirts. It doesn't have to be polyester. Um, yeah, and then you just print the picture, put it on the under the heat press, and press it on. So
The heat press, that's not like an iron, right?
it's you can use an iron for, like, if you're doing vinyl on a shirt. For the heat press for sublimation, because the temperature is so much higher, it's like a clamshell. And if I wasn't on my computer, if I was on my phone, I would show you it. So like you pull it down, and it has a big plate, and it just presses down on top, and it presses even heat all the way around your item. So it's just a lot faster and a lot more consistent than trying to use an iron to do something. Well, and you
Yeah,
wouldn't be
the
able to with sublimation. I don't think it would get the right temperature, or you'd get the right pressure to press down on it well enough. But yeah.
yeah, I don't think I'd want to use an iron for that. But I was just curious if it was like, that, you know.
Yeah,
I was just
no,
curious how that works.
it's like an iron, but just on a bigger scale in it.
I love that diaper shirt you made with the new player enters the game.
Yes, yeah, it came with a shirt for the dad to. What did the dad one say? I don't remember, but yeah. And I made one for my nephew when he found out he was getting a baby sister. It said promoted to big. Yeah, I don't remember, but yeah, it had the same kind of, the same game kind of style, and he loves it. He still wears it, so
Yeah, well,
yeah, I
why not?
thought,
It's so
right?
cool.
Yeah. So
The wood burning. Do you do that like with a hand wood burner, or is it just the laser that you do
no,
that with?
just the laser. I did try using a hand wood burner, and I don't have a steady enough hand for that. But I've also done it with, like you can buy. There's a certain chemical you can buy, and you can use a heat gun after you've
Okay.
painted that on, and it burns it too. But the laser is
Okay.
just, again, so much more consistent than anything that I could do by hand. And um, with the heat gun, trying to make sure you get the same amount of heat in every area so that it all looks the same color was a little challenging. So I think that's when I decided I need a laser. I can't do this by hand. But the one I did by
I
hand, I have a little sign. It says, "Welcome to our shit show," because that's what it looks like. It's a shit show.
the
So
sign or
the sign, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I was practicing, and I don't even know where that idea came from. But when I think once I wrote welcome, I was like, yep, this is welcome to our shit show. So, and it's still up because Jay and I just laugh about it because, that's with three big dogs running around. That's basically what we have here all the time is that going on. So, yeah.
I think with a teenager and a preschooler, that would definitely fit my place. Although
Yeah.
the preschool would be like, "What does that say?"
Yeah. Yeah. You know what my mom's sign
Nothing.
says? That's what he'd say. Guess what, teacher?
Oh my god. Yeah, he probably would. He'd probably go to school and be like, "Hey, did you know we have a sign that says?" Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that would
Yeah.
not be
Nope.
good. So, yeah, the tree you made with all the "I love yous" in all the different languages. Oh, I love that. That's so awesome.
Oh, the Valentine's one.
Yeah, with the
Yes.
little
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah. My I actually finished that one for my sister. She for her and Ryan, so I put their names in it in the hearts, and yeah, I didn't post a picture of it because she doesn't have it yet, and I don't think Ryan knows about it. So I want to make sure that it's still a surprise.
Oh, well, hopefully they don't watch this before you
Yeah.
get it to them.
He should be
You still
sleeping.
got
He's got to work midnights.
well, you still have another week, so
Yeah,
not
there we
quite a
go.
week, but yeah. Um, okay. So I do have to ask because I ask everybody that's on the show, what would you say to any emerging artists? So someone that wanted to do what you were doing, what kind of advice would you give them?
Um, Make sure you have a big enough craft room for all of your stuff because you run out of room quickly. Start small, like start, just practice and don't get frustrated with it. Start like I did, like and I tell my niece to start with the card stock, things that aren't going to cost you a lot of money, things that you can just practice with until you're comfortable with moving on to bigger things. Go to the dollar store, buy all those little things that you can there, and that way you're not worried about spending a lot of money.
That's one of the things we talk about a lot in our quilt guild too, because there's a lot of things you can get at the dollar store
Yep.
that you could spend a lot more money going to other places and getting, but you can get it from the dollar store for next to nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And you can even get vinyl at the dollar store now too, like for any of the,
Oh,
for the kids playing around, they can just get some there and it's a lot cheaper and practice.
I didn't know you could get vinyl there. I know that you could get um oh, my brain is failing me now.
I don't know if Dollarama has vinyl,
The
but
cardstock.
Dollar Tree has. Oh, yeah, cardstock for sure you can get it, but Dollar Tree now has vinyl as well. So
Okay.
and maybe not like for t-shirts, but for stickers, like if they want to make decals and stuff like that, they have lots of that. So Yeah.
Okay. So do you still make
Oh,
decals
yes.
or yeah?
Jay loves decals to put on his truck, and people ask for them all the time. So, yeah, I do make decals still. Yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine has a Cricut and made me a whole bunch of vinyl decals, and they're awesome. I mean, we
Yeah.
used them all. That was yeah,
Yeah.
but they're a lot of fun.
Yes, they are.
So like the safari trees you showed us on the cutting board, they look 3D.
Yeah.
Is the laser actually cutting it 3D or does it just look that way?
No, it's just the way the picture looks, I think, and then it yeah, just makes it look like a 3D image, and I think it does it by um the outline goes a little actually a little bit deeper than the rest of it, and then
Oh,
just the way the image is made, it makes is 3D, so then it burns it looking 3D. But there's some other ones, some really nice ones that I want to try. They're very time consuming, so and you need to watch a laser, it's burning in your house, so you have to kind of have the time to be able to sit there and wait for it.
so what is your favorite machine then? Which one is your favorite?
I think my laser. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And
It's
you said you can't leave it alone while it's running?
well, you like not with wood, you wouldn't want to because it can start on fire. Sometimes you get little sparks and stuff. With the slate, like I don't worry about it because it's stone, it's not going to start on fire. But with wood, you kind of got to be careful, especially not so much engraving, but with cutting, you definitely have to watch it a little bit because it's so thin, the wood that you're already working with, usually the balsa wood. Um, with engraving, there's not so much of a risk, but definitely with cutting, there is a risk. So, yeah,
Okay. So
I
what do you do while it's cutting? Sorry, I didn't mean to
I
interrupt you.
do. I have a second computer, so sometimes I'll do Cricut things because you don't want to run too big of a program at the same time, with the laser because it will interrupt your laser. Um,
Oh,
so I do have a second computer that I'll hook up sometimes and make things with the Cricut, and I'm spend time on my phone or whatever while I'm waiting. But yeah, I'm usually doing
okay.
something else in the craft area. So
Yeah, I'm like that too. I never have just one thing going. There's always something. Like
yeah,
I have my painting table over there and I do my internet stuff here. Behind me, I do my sewing and it's just yeah, there's always
yeah,
something going on.
yeah. Come here, Hades. You want to show Tabitha what you look like? Come here, get up here. No, he's gonna be stubborn. Get up here. Here he is.
Hey, go babies. Aw,
He's hiding.
he's shy. He's
Yeah,
camera
he doesn't like
shy.
cameras. I don't know what it is, but no, I don't even know how he knows, but it's my big
That's
boy.
funny.
Yeah. Like you try to take a picture of him and he always turns the other way. So,
Crazy.
yeah.
I love the stash of vinyl you have behind there and the way it's all set up
Yeah,
there.
I'm all my rolls.
Yeah,
Yeah. You have
that's all.
to find a good way to keep them because otherwise you'll never find what you're looking for. So, yeah.
Yeah, I
All the
bet.
colors and
Yeah, so it's really cool that you did your Facebook page and you've got people sharing it and stuff. Like that's gotta be pretty awesome. I know when you started it, you were just doing stuff for you for fun, but now that you've been doing it for a while, do you find that you have to make more time for it as opposed to you just doing it in your free time?
um definitely around Christmas time, when people want things for gifts, I do feel a little bit of stress sometimes, and I do have to limit how many orders I take. And like if I'm posting anything in one of the marketplace groups for cutting boards or puzzles, I do take them offline every once in a while just so that I can make sure that I'm getting caught up and that I'm not over extending myself because I do work a full-time job as a general manager at a restaurant, and that in itself can be exhausting. So, yeah, definitely I have to make sure that I'm making the right amount of time and not doing too much because yeah, there was days, not this last year so much, but the year before where I thought I'm never going to get all this done. I took all these orders and now what? But you know, it got done. It got done on time and it was good. Not
That's
complaining.
good.
So yeah, yeah,
Sometimes it's hard to keep up on them, or sometimes you have unforeseen events. Like I had hurt my back on Monday, so I had a girlfriend of mine have to. I had to ask a girlfriend of mine to take on a job for me because I was having a hard time sitting
Yeah.
to do the work.
Yeah.
So,
And I do have a friend who also does, tumblers and t-shirts and stuff like that. So her and I kind of work back and forth sometimes with, um, if I need something, she'll do it for me. And if she needs something, then, like sublimation wise, she doesn't have as big of a printer as I do. So I'll print things for her. And yeah, we work together that way. So it's good.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Friends make a big difference,
Yes. Yeah.
especially when you're making something. It gives you a chance to kind of work as a soundboard for each other, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hoping to talk her into doing, and I haven't explored it enough yet, but they have cutting boards that are cut deep enough that you can put a layer of epoxy in where you've cut them. So,
Yeah.
and she does epoxy like with epoxy tumblers and stuff like that. So
Oh.
I'm going to try and talk her into doing some work with me sometime soon. I just got to figure it all out. So that'll be one of my next things, I think.
And that'll be exciting. Like
Hmm.
epoxy cutting boards are really, you can do a lot with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've watched some videos. I just haven't got enough knowledge yet to start it, but we'll see. We'll see where that goes. So I'm excited to
Well,
start that.
everyone, yeah, I'd be excited by it too, right? Like you have to start somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Anita. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. I know you know, seems like you're always busy making something. So,
Yeah. Yeah. But that's
and then work,
because I'm loving it. So it's
yeah, that's good. That's the best part.
yeah.
But working full time doesn't really allow for a lot of time
No.
to have fun and explore.
Yes. Yeah.
So I do thank you for taking time on your day to come and see us.
Well, thanks for
And
having me.
yeah, for sure. It was nice talking to you. Um, but yeah, everybody can come and check out your page and give you a like and invite their friends and share some of your stuff. Maybe we'll get your name out a little bit more.
Oh, thank you. Perfect.
Thanks.
Okay.
And if you and for everyone else, if you like the video, make sure you give it a like and a subscribe, and you won't miss any artists. See you next week.
See ya.
Bye, Anita.
Bye.